So we're going to start with a short meditation, and this is a little bit of an experiment. It's no official meditation, but it's a meditation. It's aimed to kind of arrive and connect with your heart. So if you want to close your eyes and just take a few moments to settle and arrive in your body. Maybe take a few deeper breaths. And just start with becoming aware where your body touches the cushion, the chair, the mat. And just allowing your weight to sink down, be supported by the cushion, the chair, the mat. And beneath that, there's the earth, this big, massive earth. And just allowing your attention to move down in your body, noticing the earth, your body touching the earth, allowing your legs to relax down, the soles of your feet relax, sink into the earth. Just moving your attention upwards, maybe noticing the space just above your head. Space between your head and the ceiling of the room you're in, the sky above. Kind of quiet evening sky above you, the midsummer light. Just allowing your head, your skull, the top of your skull, to relax into the sky above you. And I invite you to allow yourself to listen to the sounds around you, noticing the air on your skin that is exposed. Perhaps there's a fragrance coming from outside into your room. Maybe you are outside. And I just invite you to very lightly imagine you're breathing through your heart. We're gonna do that breathing in through the front of the body, the heart, breathing out through the back of the body, and breathing in through the back of the body, breathing out through the front of the body. Just do it quite lightly, nothing forced. Just as a way of finding your heart tonight. Breathing into the heart, breathing the world into your heart. Just in a very relaxed way. Softening your face as you do it. Relaxing the legs down. Breathing in the heart, breathing out into the world. And just noticing what is there as you breathe into it. No aspiration to change anything. You're just breathing. And softening the face. And releasing the legs down. You can just let go this little exercise and just sit quietly listening, sensing the world. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your practice to a close. So, yeah, there's many things I want to say, and I probably won't have time to say most of them. So I think what I'm going to start with. So the title, I think today is The Awakened Heart, Mind, and that refers to the traditional Sanskrit, I think, Sanskrit term, chitta, which translates as heart, mind. So I think this is probably the first point I want to make today, that to the I suppose the Indian the Indian mind of 2,500 years ago, heart and mind were one and the same thing. And I think this is for us Westerners maybe a bit difficult to grasp, because we often think of mind happening up here and heart kind of somewhere down here, but often a bit in a kind of I don't know, like sentimental way. The heart is often not quite trusted, I think. You know, your feelings, your emotions, they're all a bit like, you know, should you? And then, you know, or, you know, the other extreme of like, you know, the kind of sentimental model. And I think very much rationality is kind of like our predominant value in the West. But for you know, whenever we kind of come across the word mind in Buddhism, I think it's actually for us Westerners a really good practice to read it as heart. And I say that because you know, one of the main practices we teach, of course, is mindfulness. And if you think about it, you think of mindfulness. Mindfulness actually can be heartfulness, which then, you know, everything being full of heart, everything being full of love, I suppose, of kindness, which kind of takes it immediately away from an intellectual exercise. And I think when we meditate, I think one of the big things is that we need to realize that it is not a thinking exercise. You know, meditation is experiential. So we need to base it in our experience. And when we talk about metta, kindness, loving kindness, it is actually a physical experience. It's not we teach it often as a kind of the phrases, isn't it? We kind of use the phrase "may I be well," but that is not just a phrase, you know. It's not kind of this kind of thinking exercise. It needs to come down into the body. And I think a couple of, well, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, when we talked about why we need a body as meditators, and I think it's exactly because of this, because meditation is based in experience. So I think, so traditionally, consciousness has always been like located in different parts of the body, and I think it's only a very recent evolution that we kind of been thinking of consciousness as something happening up here. And I think it's so thinking of the awakened heart is actually bringing consciousness down into our body again. Yeah, so and the heart, of course, is this kind of, you know, you can't see it because I'm too low, but the heart is very much central in our bodies, isn't it? Physically, it's very central, and in a lot of systems, you know, they're kind of more energetic systems like chakras and things, you know, it's right in the middle. And I think for me personally, that really inspires me as an image, because I think it shows you what the heart, what the function is of the heart. You know, it's the heart kind of mediates, doesn't it? It mediates between our inner, you know, so-called inner world and the so-called outer world. The heart is, and I think that's why I wanted to start with this little exercises with the heart is the kind of the organ that kind of takes in the world. And actually that only kind of quite recently they've been able to you know, like science is kind of catching up with this idea of the heart kind of responding to the world, and noticing that it's actually from the heart that the kind of the whatever it is, signals sent to the brain. You know, like if we encounter something pleasant, it's actually from the heart that a signal is sent to the brain to then release certain hormones and things like that. Anyway, we don't need to go into all of that. But yeah, so I kind of, so that's one thing, you know, is the heart is the central, you know, the heart is the central organ, I suppose. The heart is the center of the mandala. And then, of course, when we think of the awakened heart, it's like, so what does that mean, you know? What is awakening? And I think one of the ways I often think of it, or how it inspires me in my practice, is this realization that I am not different. I am not separate from the world. So I am living in this world, this physical world, and it's a bit like everything in this world is kind of helping me to be here. And in one way, this is a very simple thing to say, but in another, but it's also very difficult, I suppose, to get your head around, or not even to get your head around, but to really take that on and really live from that understanding. And I think for me, this is like the core of the Buddha's teaching. It's like, this is what the Buddha realized. The Buddha realized that his life was dependent on everything else happening at the same time. And so that means that we're like in this network of relationships, isn't it? It kind of means that everything kind of goes back to relationships. Yeah, and then of course you can go many different ways. But if you think about that, as you know, if you take that into your meditation, I think it basically means that when we meditate, we need to be careful not to go too much inside. I think one way we can look at, we can notice when we kind of have gone way too much inside is when we collapse. You know, like our posture kind of goes like this, you know, we kind of get too much inwardly. And I think it's an art in meditation not to get too much caught up with yourself. Because it's really easy to kind of make meditation an ego exercise. And what I mean by that is that meditation becomes something rather than the heart opening up to, you know, this truth, I suppose, this thing the Buddha this thing the Buddha discovered of you know, everything being interconnected, everything working together for, you know, on a very small scale, for my life or your life, you know, to exist. It's very easy to become self-absorbed, and I suppose in a quite innocent way, it can become a bit of a, you know, just a thing you do to make you feel better, either, you know, to kind of become a bit more calmer or a bit more kinder. So, you know, your relationships are a bit more pleasant. But I think what the Buddha actually pointed out is that like meditation is not that, you know, this is not what we're trying to do in Buddhism. It's not trying to kind of just, you know, walk through life a bit more easy. It's actually kind of radically changing our view of life. Yeah, so I think, what do I think? What I've been saying is, I think it's kind of easy for me personally in my own practice. I kind of live, how can I put it? I kind of take this on in a very kind of poetic way, because it can be a bit daunting otherwise. But I suppose it's kind of easy to think in a kind of maybe a bit smaller way or something. You know, you take this on of the world supporting you. I mean, yeah. So I'm a gardener and I grow. I grow a lot of vegetables on my allotments, and there's just something kind of quite magical about that, isn't it? You kind of just pick up those peas and open the pot and eat the fresh peas, and that is the kind of, so this is like really kind of the world, supporting my existence. But then I suppose there's also like a bit of a bigger thing, isn't it? And you kind of something I often think about the Buddha, before he, the night before he gained enlightenment, he had these recollections of all his previous lives, and he started to see all the conditions leading up to him sitting there that evening. And I do like to think about it in that way as well, just to kind of think from, the moment of the Big Bang, or even before, who knows, all the conditions that have led to me sitting here right now talking to you. Yeah, so there's so much to say, isn't it? Anyway, so I think, so we're going to meditate now for about 20 minutes, and I really want to, invite you to stay aware, stay attuned to the world. Because, well, traditionally, like the heart, consciousness, there's this kind of, I suppose, mythically, you can think of it that consciousness, actually, most of consciousness is outside yourself, and there's only like a little bit inside us. So we're kind of part of this bigger consciousness. I don't know if that helps. That probably only confuses you more. But yeah, so let's sit down and take on your meditation posture. Make sure you're comfortable. And just start with a few moments of becoming aware of the earth beneath you. And the sky above you. And just suppose come from the bottom up into our bodies, just allowing your attention to slowly move from the soles of your feet, toes, the top of your feet, moving the attention up through your body, into the heart. Through lower legs and knees, thighs, joining our body main. Pelvic floor, lower belly, upper belly, diaphragm, into the heart center. And then we can draw the energy from the sky down into the heart. Skull, in your eyebrows, the mouth, your throat center, your lungs, the heart center. So the metta bhavana starts with kindness, loving kindness towards ourselves. Let's just see if we can find or hear a voice wishing us well, a voice of fully accepting ourselves as we are, just as the world accepts us, the world supports us, we can support ourselves. This is truly unique person that is you. How would it be to really take this on? It's all this conditions working for you to be here, sitting here tonight, practicing together. How would it be to feel fully supported by the world? To relax into it. Relaxing into your body. Whilst holding the world in your heart as well. So one way we can understand the story of the Buddha's awakening is that there was this acceptance, this confidence that he had the right to sit there, he had the right to take his place in the world. Maybe you can allow yourself to take your place in the world fully, just like the Buddha did. It's radical love for yourself. Then we'll bring to mind a friend. And just being aware that they too are this unique expression of life, I suppose. Just see if you can hear the voice wishing them well. May they find a way to fully express themselves, fully be themselves. And just making sure, still noticing the earth beneath you, the sky above you, and the world all around you. Wishing your friend well. And see if you can soften your face a little more. Releasing your legs down. And holding your friends in your heart. Taking them fully in, how they truly are, not how we want them to be. Maybe we can wish them, may they feel fully supported by the world, may they feel fully at home in the world. And final stage is going to broaden out our sense, feeling connected, feeling at home in the world, bringing to mind, bringing to heart the people in your building, neighbors you can hear through an open window. You can bring each other to mind. How would it be if we all felt fully at home? Fully accepts each other's expressions of life, our uniqueness. You find yourself drifting off in thoughts or ideas about this, just tune back into your body, breath supporting the heart. Breathing in the world. Breathing out the world. For the final moments, let's just drop any effort you make. Noticing your posture, your body, heart area. Then when you're ready, you can bring your practice to a close. So we've got some space now, some time for you. Yeah, to ask any questions or any reflections you might have.
Thank you, Satyapara. Yes,
Saki, sorry. Oh, yeah, people don't see you. Sorry. I don't see you either.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I became really aware of how feelingful this heart area is actually. And I was remembering, I don't think I was always aware of that. When I started learning to meditate, I think it's become more sensitized the longer I've meditated. Oh, here I am. Yeah, so it's fascinating, isn't it? It is a very sort of, it's very alive, and yet we don't always pay attention to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I used to have real issues many years ago, real issues with the Metta Bhavana. And then my friend and preceptor, Akasha Shuri, she said, why don't you do the Metta Bhavana every day for the next 2 weeks? I was like, oh no. But I didn't do it just every day for the next 2 weeks. I did it every day for the next 3 years or something like that. Because I've really, there's something about, like there's no end to exploring metta kindness. There's no end to it. And yeah.
I think there's something really sort of powerful about making a decision to do that, not really knowing where it's going to take you, but just kind of launching into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something in the chat.
Yeah, there's a few things. Shobit says hello. Hi there, Shobit.
Hello.
And Selena says, yeah, thanks very much for tonight. I really relate to the part about meditating for selfish reasons. I find myself meditating in the morning simply so I can get on with my co-workers. Oops.
I mean, I think it's I don't want to say this is completely selfish reason. I think your co-workers probably gain from from your practice as well. But I think it's interesting how these things, these motivations, can slip into our meditation. And I think it's also all right. You know, it's a bit like you know, we all come to this with a mixed bag of motivations, don't we? And that is completely fine. And I think there's something about practicing meditation that kind of over time, these motivations that kind of will flush out, and then probably new ones come in. But you know, it's like it's fine, it's normal. But it's also good to be aware of it, I suppose. Like, what is my main motivation? Yeah. It's my main motivation to kind of just achieve more, or, you know, be more productive, or be, I don't know, or is my motivation, I suppose, what I'm trying to, like in my own practice, I kind of, I think, Vijasaki, you touched upon that last week, is this kind of curiosity, you know, like what is happening here, what is happening in the heart. And I think when we approach Metta Bhavana with how can I put it? Like when we think of it, like, okay, so what does happen when I bring my friend to mind, rather than wanting to impose this feeling of like, may they be well, you know, that kind of, and particularly in a way that kind of suits us. I think if we actually notice, you know, there's we need honesty. We need to bring honesty to our meditation practice, I think, and bringing that into, noticing, okay, actually this friend is, there's these things that I actually quite struggle with, or, I actually have few irritations, or, it's not all kind of rosy. And that is fine. And I think, and that's where the metta actually becomes stronger, I think, because we kind of, we go into accepting ourselves being not this ideal friend in a way, this curiosity, I'm sure it'll crop up over the next few weeks again, but it's an important quality, I think, when you meditate.
Great, thanks, Ishbara. There's Sam also has commented, he's got a question. So thanks very much. And I think it's great to feel the heart area, but isn't the heart ultimately in the mind?
Sorry, is the heart where?
The heart ultimately in the mind.
In the mind, is that what?
Yeah.
Or the mind in the heart.
His next question is, isn't everything just in the mind in the end?
Yeah. I think that is kind of, I suppose, that is very nicely put in the, I think it's the Heart Sutra, isn't it? Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And I think, so we kind of, with our dualistic view of the world, we kind of always want to have a one or the other. And I think that's why I really like the word chitta, because, obviously in the Buddha's days, there wasn't that distinction, heart and mind are one. And I think it's, sorry, I'm just thinking about an octopus. I think it is that, they have eyes on all their arms. And I think if we were an octopus, we wouldn't think that everything happens here, because it doesn't, it's like, this consciousness is in all bits of our body. And so I think just take this as an image, as a kind of thing to play with, I suppose, in your meditation. Like how is it if my body is fully aware? Awareness happens in the body rather than, between my ears. I think it's always interesting because these, I think now, neuroscience and all the rest of it, they're much more able to start to kind of notice where things generate, and I think they're often more surprised by what they find out, because it's not up here that there's some kind of commander. Yeah.
So there's another question.
Yeah,
perhaps just whilst there's still time. So Mia asks, when you decided to do the metta practice for 2 weeks, did you ever feel resistance to do it again? And any suggestions on how to work with that resistance if it keeps coming up?
I think it's no, I didn't feel resistance. I think I felt like I just opened the treasure chest. I just really found that, oh, there's something here. And because I had a lot of resistance towards, I was always like, oh, I'll just do the mindfulness of breathing, and I think my advice, as far as I'm qualified to give any advice, I would say, do the Metta Bhavana every day for a week if you feel resistance towards it, and see. Because I think whenever there's resistance, there's actually something there that kind of that needs to be explored, and I think it's developing that curiosity to what is it, and I think I mean there's also the Metta Bhavana is such a vast practice, and there's all sorts of things that crop up. I think some people find the first phase very difficult. Some people kind of just, don't think they have any enemies. And I think it's just really, really good to investigate it for yourself and notice what is happening, and the real, I suppose, the real practice with metta is that the kind of the acceptance to whatever your response is, even if that response is resistance. Yeah, but just try it out for a week. You can do anything for a week, can't you? So don't you? Yeah. I think it's come to a time now where we need to move on. So Vijasaki is going to take over here. So thank you everybody for your input and for meditating with me.
Oh, thanks so much, Satyapara. That was, yes, so much in what you said and in the practice that you've led, and really nice to have you along with us, everybody who's contributed to chat. I'm sure there are more people as well who are watching and meditating alongside us. So there's 3 more weeks to go of this series, so do keep coming. It's great to hear how you're getting on, and it's really lovely to week on week. And I can let you know that there's a meditation morning coming up on the 10th of July. So that's going to be led by Kamala Matti and Satyapara. You don't have to remember the names, but you can go to the website where Liz is actually putting a little link in the chat box now. And it's called Discipline is Joyful, a meditation morning, starting probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And ending, 9:30 until 12:45 p.m. So that's your Saturday morning, beautiful spacious Saturday morning with Kamala Matti and Satyapara. They will have some really wonderful insights into meditation and how to get joy out of the discipline. So there's that on the 10th of July. And don't forget, we've got a relaunch. We're going to relaunch the centre. And with the wonders of technology, any minute now, I'll be able to tell you the date of our relaunch. Is it the 24th? Yeah, oh yes. Saturday, 24th of July, we are opening up the building. Liz and volunteers have been working really hard to get the building all ship-shape and sort of spick and span and shiny. And we're really looking forward to welcoming you in. And there'll be meditation taster sessions, all sorts of activities. So just come and experience the centre. Bring your friends, and we're just really looking forward to seeing you sort of in the flesh, as it were, and practicing with you together in the Buddhist centre. And as part of that, we've got this little project. So how am I going to explain it? Basically, we're creating this kind of map to show our reach during lockdown. So we've had people show that, I think it's in India, we've had people from all over the world coming to our sessions. So Liz is putting the link in, and basically just go in, it'll take you 30 seconds to follow that link, and then just let us know where you're sort of tuning in from, and then we'll have this map that shows the reach that we've had during lockdown, which will be really fun thing. Yes, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done it already, and please do think about making a donation. We need all the support that we can get to keep these classes rolling out. And it's a very interesting time coming up now, a shift from lockdown out of the pandemic into sort of the embodied world again. It'd be great if you could support us as we make that transition. It's going to be a very interesting time, very rich time. And Thursday night meditation will be continuing, so you can keep tuning in. I think that's it, isn't it? Have I covered everything? Yeah. So yeah, see you again next week. I hope. Thanks again, Satyapara. And thank you to Liz for the technical stuff.